Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back in. Today's presentation for January 13th, 2019 is going to be about some Arctic cold shots and the potential for a big winter storm. Or a couple big winter storms actually, straight to Mid-Atlantic, Tennessee Valley, and Northeast. So let's get right into it here. I just want to make an announcement. So my number of subscribers grew by over 10 yesterday, so I'm up to 74 now, so thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate that. So let's jump right into it here. So yes, we have been mentioning the potential for a couple additional winter storms on top of the one we got now, Winter Storm Gia, which produced about 4 to 6 inches of snow for a lot of Mid-Atlantic, but I'm sure DC got about 6 to 12 inches in a lot of spots. And actually one spot in Missouri, it was just northwest of St. Louis. I forget the name, but it was just northwest of St. Louis, picked up about 20 inches of snow from this storm. And it is now pulling out, okay, some leftover flurries if you live south of the 95 corridor, south and east. Okay, and watch as it strengthens as it pulls out to sea. A little Alberta, not an Alberta clipper, just like a little area, I would just even call like a little area of snow pushing through southeastern Canada. Nothing too much. Okay, it's going to be all snow. Maybe some light snow showers for northern New England. Maybe about a couple inches, but that's about it. That pulls on out. And then, so this storm's going to have two phases to it. This big winter storm between the 18th and about the 22nd of January. Okay, so there's the one that comes on the 18th. It's not as major. Okay, it's going to be almost like G a little bit, except it's going to have a lot more in the way of rain. And some snow if you live PA Turnpike on north. But south of the PA Turnpike, south of the 95 corridor, south and east, it is going to be all rain, okay? Like I said, this is still more than 4 to 5 days out, this first system, and the second system is about a week out. Okay, maybe a little bit more. So there's still a lot of time. But this one, we think it's going to be like a minor one. Maybe once it gets to Cape Cod and Boston, it could strengthen to 1006 millibars of pressure with some snow. Okay, and I'll actually get to the snow totals in just a minute. And then you can see maybe as it pulls into the Canadian Maritimes, maybe eastern Maine could see some heavier snow before it all pulls away, but that's about it. The stronger storm, you notice, is about 1,000. That number's cut off there. It's about 1,005. And this has got some heavier or more widespread snow on its northern side, ice along it, and then it's pretty much all rain. Dallas, Texarkana, Little Rock, Arkansas. But again, it could change. This storm is going to be hitting the northwestern coast in like 3 to 4 days. Okay, it's going to be all the way on the west coast in 3 to 4 days. So that's how much time we have. Okay, so hour 144, so it's exactly 6 days out. 1,000 millibars of pressure here, and you can see the heavy snow, especially in Kansas and Missouri, around Kansas City particularly, and then some heavier rain to the south, and that's not good. The Southern Plains and the Southeast are two places, and the Mid-Atlantic too, are 3 places that don't need rain, that's for sure. And then this is what we have to watch. What does the storm do? Does it track closer to the coast, away from the coast? It's at 1,000 millibars of pressure, okay? So if you think about the wind aspect, I can also pull up a wind map for you. Okay, that's about almost a tropical storm. Okay, and Winter Storm Gia, if you're wondering, if you don't live in the Mid-Atlantic, you don't wonder how significant was the winter storm, I should put up some photos, maybe on my Google Plus account, if you want to go and check that out. Consider checking that out. Just type in The Weather Dude. It's my same name. It's in my Google Plus account. And maybe I'll put on some pictures from Winter Storm Gia. But you can see some heavier snow around Hagerstown, Maryland. Okay. Maybe some rain in the foothills of western North Carolina. Like I said, that can all change. And then once the storm gets off the Atlantic coast, 993 millibars of pressure. And some very heavy snow and even some sleet. Okay, so this is one to watch. Okay, so please be very careful. And in fact, if I go over to the winds, okay, the winds could be pretty significant. Okay, it's actually 850 millibar wind. Sorry, it's the wrong one. Okay, so 10-meter winds with this system could be very significant as it heads off the coast, and we could be seeing blizzard conditions. Okay, so watch, here it is, 999 millibars of pressure out ahead of it. So if you see these green, that's areas of tropical storm force winds or higher. And actually 850 millibars was the right map. Sorry folks, just trying to get acquainted. I haven't used the wind map in a while. Alright, there it is, okay. So maybe even, I wouldn't say hurricane force winds. Okay, that's a little overrated, I think, because if you have the purple and higher, that means at least hurricane force winds. If you see that green area and higher, that means tropical storm force winds. Okay, and even 25, that darker shade of blue can mean 30-mile-an-hour winds, pretty high up in the atmosphere. Okay, this is not at the surface whatsoever. I can't pull up a wind map that's more distinct. But you can see as it pulls up the coast. Okay, again, I would say strong tropical storm force winds, nothing hurricane force. But just to show you that once the storm gets up the coast, it can be very significant. And if we go over to the 24-hour snowfall totals, okay, let me zoom in on the northeast, and they could be very significant at times. Okay, so please be very careful out there wherever you're traveling, whether it be the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I-95 corridor, or anywhere. Okay, so we're gonna start it out. Oops, spoiler alert. So we're gonna start you out here with the first system. Okay, it is relatively weak. Not gonna bring in too much. Maybe about everywhere I've seen about 1 to 3 inches, particularly 1 to 2 inches. Okay, maybe 3 in some spots, but the general sense here is 1 to 2. And then that pulls off, like I said, heavier snow. Once it gets into the Canadian Maritimes, it could dump about 4 to 5 inches. Okay, but a death storm is not going to strengthen all that much. But this next storm will. Okay, and this is 24-hour snowfall. And notice about 7 to 15 inches of snow. I'll make it very broad here because we're very far out. And then, boom, right along the I-95 corridor from Portland down to DC here. It's a foot plus in some spots. And this does include sleet and ice. Okay? But still, you still want to kind of throw that in there sometimes. And then once the backside pulls out, the backside, particularly along the Mid-Atlantic, Delaware, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, even Virginia and West Virginia, according to the current runs now, this storm could last very long, at least its backside. Okay, so it's something to please watch out for. And as far as the temperatures are concerned, they are going to be very brutal. Okay, some Arctic outbreaks, and if you just heard the polar vortex has split. Okay, so temperatures, Climate Prediction Center is going all out with the cold. I will show you that later on the video. Okay, with their maps. Okay, the cold is kind of hard to get in, but trust me, after about 5 days, start looking at the models. Because temperatures could get we're talking about double digits below average, like 10, 20, even 30 degrees at times, but particularly 10 to 20 degrees below average, especially out in the Midwest. And then eventually, as the storm arrives, it will push on to the east. Here's hour 210. You can see the whole eastern part of the country is below average, and the northern plains and Rockies is above average, but you know, some areas in the mountains below average. Okay, we don't really get into the mountain specifics. That's very difficult to handle. But notice how this jet stream. This is just proof of how far this jet stream is going down to the south. You can even see Florida is even double digits below average according to this current model run. Okay. Then New Orleans is double digits below average. Atlanta is double digits temperatures below average. Even Houston is double digits. Okay, so many areas. If you're in that lavenderish color that you see on the map, that means you're at least double digit temperatures below average. Okay, so that's how significant this is. At least the cold aspect, the precipitation aspect, you're gonna kind of have to wait on. Okay, that could change at any given point in time. So here we have the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies. Okay, and as we head through time, here's a GEFS ensemble model. And there's an area of distinct low pressure, but overall you can see the kind of jet stream, the wind steering kind of going this way. Maybe a mini little ridge, maybe a little high pressure, kind of scooching that storm along, kind of westerly flow. It's not like shoving it along, but it's just giving a little nudge saying, hey, you gotta move it along here a little bit. I'm not being too strict on you, but you gotta move. So that's basically what it's doing with that. As far as the strength of the storm is concerned, which will be on this next map, and like I said, it'll only take, like, according to an inch of snow. I've heard people on the Weather Channel were saying according to an inch of snow, and they were having trouble getting to work because of Winter Storm Gia, and just according to an inch. Okay, so this is just proves how significant Winter Storm Gia was, and any storm could be, even with just according to an inch. And you look at it, 6 inches plus with this second winter storm that will be pushing through. Like I said, 18th to the 22nd. and then eventually that will pull up into New England. But like I said, in the meantime, very significant snowfall to watch out for. Okay, like I said, they did this. So like I said, very significant snow to watch out for. Please be very careful. Traveling, like I said, even according to an inch, can do some very bad damage. Okay, so the vortices, okay, is something we're going to watch out for because that indicates the strength of the storm, the deepness, the convection kind of moisture. And I used to think, because, you know, when I was little, I really didn't understand much. So I used to think, like, this was, like, just for hurricanes. I was like, well, what was this cyclone? Because it was spinning. What was it doing in the north? And I realized it's not just for tropical cyclones. It is also for tracking low pressure systems and even winter storms. Alright? So as we take this through time, hour 144 is a good starting spot for this. Okay, this is 6 days out, and the storm's not even going to be arriving yet. But if you look on dry map, you see some deep convection setting up right there around Kansas City, if not just to the south, around Little Rock, more or less around I-40, maybe just to the north, and eventually the snow will pull off to the east. Okay, I'm not sounding too sure about that yet. For all we know, okay, this low, okay, if it does pull, it could go up the coast and strengthen. It could just go out to sea and do nothing. It could be like a winter storm Gia kind of storm, where we thought it was going to do nothing, then it did so much. Okay, so it's to be determined. And actually, if we go back to hour 60, maybe even later than that. Okay, and watch as the jet stream patterns, they start to take shape. And eventually, boom, there you go. You have the jet stream. You got the polar jet. Okay, you got another polar jet here. So you got like twice. You got two jet streams bringing in some cold air, and you also have the subtropical jet stream coming out of the south and west. Okay, so it's like a triple whammy with this system. Okay, so the winter storm warning for southern Delaware. Okay, maybe just show 1 to 3, but when it's all set and done, 4 to 6 inches. Which is pretty ironic because in the winter weather advisory I'm going to show you on the next slide, the storm total is also 4 to 6 inches. Okay, and if you live anywhere in, you know, western Jersey, somewhere northern Delaware, southeastern Pennsylvania, maybe extreme southeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern Maryland, your storm total snowfall for this season, which I calculated, is about 8 to 12 inches. Okay, and our whole seasonal snowfall average is about between 20 and 30, more or less. Okay, depending on where you are, your elevation. Okay, so we're not doing too bad, okay? Grayson was our G-name storm we had. That was January 5th, okay? So we're a little behind schedule. We're about a week or so behind schedule from last year, but still, things are going to really kick into gear, okay? So here's the winter weather advisory for northern Delaware. Again, 4 to 6 inches total, 1 to 3 inches additional, okay? This, if you're a child watching and you want no school on Monday for tomorrow, probably, if at very best, a 1 or 2 hour delay. But I think there's still going to be school because the roads were very wet. Okay, now they were drying up right before the sun went down. Maybe you can see some snow down Baltimore, D.C. might have schools canceled. But as far as Delaware, Jersey, Pennsylvania, northeastern Maryland is concerned, I think we will probably have school, but maybe a 1 or 2 hour delay at best. And if your school gets really lucky, they'll cancel school. Okay, so here's the Climate Prediction Center. Here's that jet stream dipping down the low. And we got some very cold air in the plains, in the central southern plains. But even in the east, we can see some colder than average temperatures for our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Hey, the 14-day, that cold kind of itches on east with that storm pushing east. Okay, so there's a jet here. We got a ridge here. Maybe like another little ridge there. Okay, and Alaska, if you live in the east, you're like, oh, I want cold and snow. Well, you want warm temperatures for Alaska. That's proof that a high pressure is sitting somewhere around the Gulf of Mexico. Or not Gulf of Mexico, excuse me, Gulf of Alaska. Whew, that was way off. But the precipitation, okay, is going to be above average. And Alaska, if you're on the East Coast, you want cold, you want snow, you want this to be below average. Because high pressure brings, for Alaska, if they sit to the south, they usually bring warm and dry conditions. Okay, so as far as the oscillations are concerned, NAO, okay, forecast to be positive. Okay, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, Arctic oscillations are going to be negative, and Pacific North American patterns are positive. So overall, these oscillations are cooperating. And if I zoom in here briefly, the hazards, 8 to 14 day hazards from the 19th to the 25th, So 1 month after Christmas. Little note there. So 19th to the 21st, heavy precipitation. Now, I've seen them do this before, and they say heavy precipitation because they don't know if it's going to be rain, is it going to be ice, is it going to be snow. So they basically said heavy precipitation, and it might not even be there in the Mid-Atlantic. It could be up in the Great Lakes, it could be in northern New England, it could be down in the Carolinas. We do not know. So if I was working for NOAA, National Weather Service, okay, basically what I would do is I would just say heavy precipitation basically for this whole region right in here, or at least moderate to heavy precipitation, so at least you know you won't be too far off in case the forecast happens to turn, because like I said, don't not take this for granted, this can turn. Okay, so I would outline heavy precipitation for that whole area, but you know that's their way of saying things. That's fine. Okay, to wrap it up for today's video, I'm going to show you a article from AccuWeather that's showing that potential storm. Okay, so start out early midweek. Here's that storm sitting right there. The jet stream is starting to look a little wavy, but it's nothing too impressive. That little low pressure system I was talking about, that was gonna bring like a couple inches northern New England earlier in the video, that's gonna pull out spotty showers for Houston, Galveston, and Shreveport. So that low pressure sitting right here will bring some heavier precipitation to the northwestern coast, northwestern United States, and colder temperatures out in the upper Midwest. But watch as we head through midweek, or late week, excuse me. That's when that big winter storm comes through. Now, where does it track? We do not know that yet. Okay, so please be very patient with this winter storm. Please be patient with my computer. Sorry, that's a little funny. But anyway, sorry about that. So the low pressure will eventually pull off to the east, okay, in a kind of a bending motion, but wherever the storm tracks, if there is a storm, okay, wherever the storm tracks, there's going to be a cold outbreak. As long as it's pretty strong, there's going to be a cold outbreak to the north and a warm outbreak to the south. So, and it's going to be that nice band of ice in the middle. So unless you happen to be one of those lucky people that gets that ice, it's going to be either a ton of snow or a ton of rain, and maybe, if you're lucky, get some ice in the middle. Alright, so please be very careful out there. I will continue to track this story in my next few videos, and if another weather story comes up, of course, I will track that as well. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. I dedicate this presentation to all the hard workers out there. Thank you for working so hard for us. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, and watch out for the cold, please, across the Midwest and Eastern United States.